everybody, Cam S here. Today we are going to be reviewing this Nikon 223 Tactical Rifle Scope. It is the 3x9x40 version. So we're going to be talking about the perks of this scope, what comes in the box itself, and what does not come in the box, and that is a very important factor before buying this scope. So when looking at the box, it is a very basic box and only has the Nikon branding on it once. So I thought that was a little strange. It has all the tactical on every side of it though. So the Nikon branding is not very prominent on the box, which I thought was a little strange when I first got it. And when we open up the box, we have the instruction manual for all, I think, 4 rifle scopes for the 223 Tactical. So like I said, it has 4 different of the Tactical 223 scopes included in this manual, and this one is actually that one right there that has the 3x9x40. So looking at the scope itself, it does come with a protection sleeve, and other than that, that is all that this scope comes with in the box. So with that said, if you do not already have a scope on your gun, you are going to need to purchase a scope mount, and it needs to have 1-inch diameter rings on it. And I went with the Monstrum picatinny scope mount that has, it's just one piece, as you can see right here. I did not go with 2 separate scope mounts. I went with the offset Monstrum one, and I personally like it. I didn't have to worry about evenly spacing it, and it worked out pretty good for me. But if you are going to buy this scope, you're going to need to keep this in mind. And the thing that I find most interesting about this gun is the BDC right here. So if you want to pause it real quick and look at that, it has the BDC, which is the bullet drop compensation, and it has up to 600 yards on that. So you can go from 100 to 200, and then once it gets to 200, it goes to 250, 300, and so on. So if you want to take a look at that real quick, how that is spaced out, you can pause that or rewind that and pause it right there to look at that. And I really like that aspect of the gun. I like how Nikon has that BDC for a lot of its scopes, and that way you don't have to personally figure out how much it's going to drop at 200 yards compared to 100 yards. It automatically does that, which will be a little off from ammo to ammo, but I really like how it's going to be consistent for the most part for that, and you don't have to figure it out yourself.
When looking at the top of the scope, it reminds you one more time what the branding is. It has the ability to focus, and up here you have your 3 to 9 zoom, and it looks like right here you can remove this to add the quick slide handle, which is not included. I believe you can purchase that separately though. When looking at the side of the scope, it includes these tactical zeroing dials that have a audible click when you turn them. I'm not sure if you can hear that on video, but there is an audible click that you can hear and feel when you turn these knobs. And this is one thing that I am not a fan of on the scope, that you always have these exposed on the scope. You cannot cover these up, and it is possible to bump these, which I have taken the precaution by writing down my windage and my elevation, so that if it does get messed up, I can quickly put them back to the zeroing settings, so I am not off and I'm closer to when I want to sight the gun in again. But here's another side view of the scope, and you can see that it matches this color very well between the gun, the scope, and the mount. So I think this combination went well together. This is the Springfield Saint 223 or 5.56, and I believe all these colors went together very well. I did my best to align the camera to the scope, and it is not doing the scope justice. The scope is much more crisp than this in real life, and the eye relief is much better than this. The circle around the edges, that black circle is not as dark in real life. The scope is very smooth to look down, and I also wanted to show you that BDC in real life. If I can zoom in on that, that is what you see when you're looking down the scope, which is a little small to look at, but when you're looking down the scope, it's not that big of an issue.
Here is a little look of the scope completely mounted to a 5.56.
I think I've shown you every aspect of the scope, and I guess the only thing left to do would be for me to shoot it, which I am actually not going to do in this video because I cannot find ammo right now. I'm not sure when this video is posting, but at the time of recording this video, ammo is very hard to come by, and I'm not going to spend $30 for 20 rounds. That is just ridiculous price right now, so I'm not going to do that right now. And the only other thing I can do is tell you the pros and cons of this scope and whether or not you should buy it or not. Overall, I really do like this scope. I like it a lot better than the red dot that I used to have on it. I used to have the Romeo 5, which I did make a review on, and you can check that out on the top of the screen right now. But overall, I really do like this a lot better than that red dot. I really like the fact that it has a variable zoom on it, and that BDC makes it so much easier to shoot. And that is why I like it more than a red dot, which that's all on preference. But if you want to use a rifle as is intended for the longer ranges, and you're not clearing rooms with it or something like that, this is definitely the way to go. It definitely would be better for hunting and other aspects of that, and using the rifle to its full capabilities. And it has that 3 to where you can do some close range if you need to or want to. Another reason I went with this scope rather than another one is because of that 40mm diameter on the scope itself. That will allow for much more light to be able to come in compared to other ones. Some were like 32mm, and I had it narrowed down to 3 scopes, and this one had the biggest one of that. And being able to shoot in lower light scenarios, especially for coyotes, will be very useful. So that is why I chose this scope compared to others. Some more information on this scope. I have touched on some of these aspects earlier, but I'm going to read through this real quick. It has a 1-inch diameter tube, so when you buy the rings to mount your scope to the gun, you're going to need 1-inch rings. The overall weight is 16.9 ounces, and the overall length is 12.4 inches. So it is your average size scope. It's not giant by any means, and it honestly goes well with the AR. And one more aspect is the range. The DBC goes up to 600 yards. I do not see myself ever taking a 600 yard shot, but it does have that option to be able to go out to those kind of ranges. Nikon does claim that this scope is waterproof and fog proof. I have not tested this, so do not take my word for it. I have not tried any of that, but it does claim that the O-rings in it make it waterproof. The glass on it seems very heavy duty, and one thing I like about this is the eye relief. Compared to other scopes, the eye relief is very large. I compared it to 3 other scopes when I was reading through trying to decide which one I wanted to buy. This had the biggest eye relief on it, which is very important when you're trying to just pull it up quickly and look through the scope, which if you're going to be coyote hunting, you're going to probably be pulling it up really quick and not going to be able to have it right at that specific point on your eye, which makes it a lot nicer. The image is very crisp when you're looking down the scope, and the glass seems to be quite high quality. One aspect of the scope that I don't necessarily like is the fact that the zeroing knobs do not have a screw-on cap to them. You can turn those at any point, which I'm not much of a fan of because I want to sight a gun in and just leave it. I don't want to be messing with the zeroing. I'm not one to be taking 600 yard shots to where I need to mess with the zeroing all the time. So I want to sight it in at 100 yards and just be good from there. And this leaves room for error, I guess. And I just want to be 100% certain that my zeroing is not going to be off. Another downside to this scope is that it does not come with a mount to mount the scope to the gun, which kind of stinks. You have to order that separately, which It's kind of a hassle if you did not know about it before you order it. So before you order it, make sure you know this, and that may sway your decision on whether or not you're gonna buy it or not. The last part that may make or break your decision on buying this scope is the price point. I personally did not pay the current asking price for this scope. I believe I ordered it on Cyber Monday or Black Friday and got it for like $100 off. So the price they are asking for it now is a little bit higher than what I paid for, but the current asking price is not like way up there like some scopes are. I don't think the price point is unreasonable, but it does tend to be a little bit higher than other scopes that are similar to this. But overall, I do think you get what you pay for here. You can get some budget scopes for about $100, but I do not think they'll be as high quality as this scope is. The glass is very clear, the eye relief is great, and overall it is a good scope. Hopefully I answered every question that you had on this scope. If you still have questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll try to answer them as fast as I can, and I hope I helped you make your decision on whether or not you want to buy this scope or not. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it helped you out a little bit. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Everybody, please leave a like and leave a comment if you have any questions or have any suggestions on what you would like to see next. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Check out some of my other videos, and I will see you next time.